Hey everyone, Neely here, a senior product manager at GoDaddy and a freelance website designer on the side. And I'm here to talk to you all today about using GoDaddy Pro as a lucrative business model in uncertain times. There's a lot more to GoDaddy Pro than you might have realized, and I'm here to really dive into each of the awesome tools that you can use to not only make your website design business a little bit more efficient, but also use it to generate additional income for your business. Because I mean, at the end of the day, who doesn't like an additional income, a little bit more money to spend either on bills or trips to Tahiti or whatever you're doing there. So I'm going to be jumping into each of the real core areas and showing you how you can actually use it to start saving time and actually make that additional income. So let's check this out. So as you may or may not know, GoDaddy Pro has a ton of tools that you can use to save time, manage clients, and manage their clients' websites as well. This is the current GoDaddy Pro dashboard. We're actually in the process of making a totally new experience, bringing in a lot of these cool features that you know and love today, and a lot more too. One of the first things you want to do when you sign up for a free GoDaddy Pro account is to add your clients here. So on the left-hand menu, we can go ahead and click on clients. So you can see here, I have a couple of my demo clients, but if I were to go ahead and add a new client, I would just choose this add another client button. So this just adds them to your GoDaddy Pro account to keep track of their sites and any associated costs. A couple cool things with this is with this client management, if this client has a GoDaddy account, I can actually send them a request to request access to their account. So that way I don't have to ask for their username and password anymore to go in and manage their different products that they might have. Then I need to fulfill and finish this project. And then from there, I'll show you on an account that I do have it set up with, I believe it's this one. So I have this log in as client, and then I can see all of the products that this client, i.e. me, has in their account. And the next thing you want to do after you've got your client set up in your GoDaddy Pro dashboard is to add their sites that you are managing. Now, there are a ton of things that you can do when it comes to the site management piece of GoDaddy Pro. It's probably one of the more popular pieces when it comes to this experience. So let me show you how to add a new site to your dashboard, and then I'll start showing you all the little benefits that you can do to start maximizing your time. And then when we wrap, I'll show you how I create essentially maintenance packages using this free tool to help my clients with their web presence and overall website. So to add a website to the GoDaddy Pro dashboard, we're going to click this plus and then choose add a website. Once this pops up, we'll go ahead and type in our website. I'm going to do one of mine just for the sake of the example. It's going to start to establish a connection. And then once it makes that connection, it's going to ask for a username and password. And I'll just skip past it here. You can also use a connection key, which is found after you install the Manage WP Worker plugin. You can get that inside the WordPress dashboard, but I'll skip ahead and throw in my username and password. All right, and then once it gets added, I can either go ahead and add another website or go to the website's dashboard. And this is what I'm going to do. Now, what I recommend for you as a web designer or developer is when you are building out your client site, you set every single one up in here. Even if for the only fact that it keeps all of your sites organized, and there's this one-click WP admin button here. I can click this and log into that WordPress site without having to remember the username and password, hoping that my Chrome browser is going to remember it. Sometimes I clear my cache cookies and save passwords, and that's never any fun, but it keeps it all organized here. The other reason why I recommend doing this is early on in your conversations with your client, you want to talk about setting up some type of ongoing maintenance plan, even if it's as simple as making sure you do the updates, backups, some security checks, some performance checks, just the basics to make sure that their website stays up and running. Because if they've hired you, they're likely making a pretty large investment in their business, and they want to make sure that their investment stays up and active, it's reputable online, and you can do that with a partnership here with GoDaddy Pro. So let me jump into each of these different areas and the parts that I include in my maintenance package that I use with my clients. All right, so the first one here, after switching to one of my dev sites, I'm going to go over to backups. So you can set up ongoing backups with these sites hosted here. And as you can see here, it's $1.80 a month, or if you're hosted with GoDaddy, these backups are free. There is a free and premium version. So even, regardless of where you're hosted, you can set up a monthly backup schedule. That's going to be absolutely free. But if you're with GoDaddy, it's that $1.80 a month. So next up, we have plugins. So in my maintenance package, I will have set up to where I will update your plugins, your theme version, and your core. Now, these are now features of WordPress. It does it automatically for them. The reason why I do these for my clients, and I do them not necessarily automatic with the core version, is because sometimes an update with the plugin or theme or core can go wrong. There's conflicts. I want to make sure that they're protected, and in the event that something happens, I don't have to be constantly looking to make sure that nothing happened, right? So on this dashboard area, I can easily go ahead here and update all plugins, or I can set up a schedule of these plugins as well. So I want to show you what I do with the actual scheduling here. So if I go over to scheduling, I'll go ahead and enable it. And that way I can set up my own cycle. So usually Sundays, I'll kind of do my scheduling cycle. Let's do it like 8 a.m. I can perform WordPress core update. But what I do here is I choose this perform safe update with rollback to previous version. And essentially what the safe update is going to do, it's going to take a backup right before I update the plugins. It's going to update all the plugins. And in the event that there's an issue, it'll just roll back to that last backup that I made right before this and let me know that there was an issue. So I've set up scheduling for my plugins. I can do the same thing for my themes. Just click themes on the left-hand side, choose what themes I want to schedule, and go back. And now they are all scheduled for Sunday at 8 for this site. So I have my backups included with my site maintenance package. I have my plugins. And now let's take a look at some of the other options here that I have available for me with this package. So next up is link monitoring. And this basically lets me run a report to see if there are any broken links on a website. Again, like it kind of says here, broken links frustrate visitors and mess with their website rankings. And that's exactly true. You never want to have a visitor on one of your client site poking around and clicking on something and getting to just a dead page or a 404 page and not the page they actually intended to go on. So you can activate link monitor here. Next up, we have security. So this is more so of just a security check. Now, there are two different levels with this security check. There is a free version, which is just a manual report. You click on the button and it'll give you the same report. Or you can do an automated one, and it's just $1 a month, I believe, free if you're with GoDaddy. So let me go ahead and activate this here. And all it's going to do is say, cool, here is the security check. It's going to run through, start checking my development site. Next up, we have performance. And this is just a simple, easy to digest performance check. Again, with that same logic, there's the free version of the manual check. I can click the button and run that report, or the premium, which is 90 cents, and it'll just automatically go every single day. Next up, we have uptime monitoring, and I should probably move myself over here so that way you can see the rest of the options. But same principle here, we can activate that uptime monitoring if we want to. It's that 90 cents. That way you're notified via email, SMS, or Slack if in the event that the website goes down. Next up, we have an SEO ranking. So this is a pretty simple report that lets you just list out a bunch of keywords that you want to be tracking for your website or your client's website rather. And it just shows you a report of what your visibility score is, where it ranks, things like that. It is, again, that 90 cents per month. And then you can start to add keywords, see how you rank against your competitors. So far with that maintenance package, I have my backups for the client. I have the auto updates of plugins, themes, and the core version. I have link monitoring for those broken links. I have security checks. I have performance checks. I have uptime monitoring. I have SEO rankings. And that's quite a bit on top of, I'll usually throw in a couple of hours of work, depending on what type of package they have set up. But after all of that is done, I need an efficient way to show my client the work that's being done on the back end to make sure that their site is up and running without any issues. If you don't talk to your client about what you're doing and showing them all the work that's gone into making sure their site is up and running smoothly, it almost seems like no work is done at all. And that's where client reports come in. So client reports has a free and premium aspect to it. I'll activate this with my clients. So once I've activated client reports, I'll set up scheduling. So I'm going to assign this site to a client. Let's say it's me. I'll save changes. And now I can set up this report to run however often that I want. So if we go over to report, I can do a new report. So for now, I haven't set up any templates. So I'm going to just go ahead and choose default template and use the new design. You can set up your language. There's lots of different languages to choose from. So no matter where you are, there's a pretty good chance that we have your major language. The date format, you can adjust it if you want to. Set up your date range. So I'll usually do the last 30 days, or you can do a custom report depending on what you're wanting to do, but I'll just do last 30. Then you can choose to include what sections to include in the report. So then once I've finished that, we'll go ahead and choose customize. I can create an introduction message if I want. I can add my logos here if I want to as well. I can use just the default front page template, or if I want to create my own template, I can do that here and have my image color and my image. Typically that'll be my business logo with a website care report thing. I can choose different colors that I want on my actual report, my font style. When you're done, you'll just click preview and it's going to start generating the report. So if I go ahead here and download this as a PDF, I'll open it up so you can check out what that looks like. So I chose custom image and I forgot to make it go back. So that's why this is blank. This would show your image here, but it's going to give you the overview. So the updates performed, how many backups were created, the overall uptime of the site, analytics, the 19.5% average increase in sessions from the previous period, security, performance scores, SEO, things like that. And then it's going to break those down into individual sections. So for updates, it'll show you, cool. So WooCommerce, you saw me do that in this video. I upgraded that from 4.5.1 to 5.1 and the date there. Backups, again, kind of the same thing. It'll take a snapshot of what that site looks like, the backup size, the version, some other information there as well. Uptime, it'll show all the ups and downs of the site, if there are any, but I just activated this. It's been up for 9 minutes and 25 seconds. Analytics. So this is the one that's built in by default. It'll show just a general overview of the traffic for the sessions on the actual website from this period versus the previous period, which is the 30 days prior to the last 30 days. The security check, so it'll show you what your most recent scan does. Again, that status was vulnerable. If I were to run that report again, it would show clean here. And it would have 317 detected, another one for 317 clean, for example. Performance, it has that performance score. I'll kind of just skip through the SEO. I'll show that change. And we are monitoring those 2 keywords. We found some competition, which is super cool to kind of show your client that you have that kind of top of mind. And it might actually point out some competitors that they may not even have thought of yet. But that is the client report. So what I do here is I set this up to send to my client every month. And all this stuff is automated. I'll pair this with some manual work that I'll do with like just manual updates of their website requests, changing copy, images, adding pages, things like that. But all this stuff is done for me automatically. And this saves me a ton of time. And it's a service that my clients couldn't do them potentially themselves. So they're getting that peace of mind knowing that their website is safe, secure, it's up to date, and it's basically being their hardest working employee. I'm using this as an additional monthly revenue stream for my business, paired with that manual work. And I honestly think everyone wins at the end of the day. And as you're going through these uncertain times, but still taking on new clients, I hope you think of GoDaddy Pro as a powerful tool that you can leverage to bring in new recurring revenue for your freelance website design or development business. Again, I'm Neely, and I'll see you later.